Hello everyone, my name is Ellie with HERBCRAFT by Ellie Apothecary. Today I have an oracle reading using the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Lynn. I pulled 4 cards ahead of time, and today's message is: how do you find the road to your heaven? The answer and the final result is pleasure. But that's not where we begin. Welcome. This is a timeless message. It is a spiritual message. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. Spirit and I have been communing about this for a few days. I usually do my readings off the cuff, so putting thought into this ahead of time means it's really special. This is a spiritual guidance message. Now they had me pull 4 cards, and I'm going to do a little bit of channeling and a little bit of reading from the book. So the first card is thriving. Pay attention to the animals and the imagery. Perhaps it'll stimulate some synchronicities for you. If I feel called to call out the angel numbers, I just saw 133 on the timestamp. Could be significant. Look them up. So what does thriving mean to you? 144 on the timestamp. Thriving is beyond surviving. Thriving is excelling at something. It's doing something really well, something you've had practice at, right? So in order to thrive, we must practice, we must be diligent, we must dedicate ourselves to that which we want to nurture and go forward with, right? The giraffe is also making me think of a higher perspective. For some of you, it's sticking your neck out, right? Being willing to get up on your toes and look over the edge and go, what's over there, right? What's over there? So the second card that I pulled, and we're just going to run through them and then I'll get deeper. Happiness. Dolphins are highly intelligent animals. Some even call them extraterrestrial, but you do what you want with that one. Happiness is the goal for most people. And what that happiness means, 303 on the timestamp, is going to be different for all of you. But happiness is the key to move forward on things. To be in a state of happiness means you can thrive and succeed, right? When you're happy, you're more likely to do things that you want to do that can push you forward in life, right? And this happiness leads to abundance, 333 on the timestamp. This is your everything. Abundance is not just about money. It's about being fulfilled within, therefore outside of yourself. So this is about really knowing what brings value to your life. How can you implore abundance in every aspect to feel fulfilled, to live a happy life that leads to more pleasure, right? 411 on the timestamp. This could be your Garden of Eden. And heaven is a state of mind, just as hell is. So is purgatory. So you can look at it from multiple perspectives. How have you kept yourself stuck in your own, I'm seeing 8 of Swords in my mind's eye, your own self-limiting beliefs and entrapments where you haven't allowed yourself to really think about these things because perhaps you don't feel like you deserve it, right? Happiness is about finding the light within yourself so you can shine it on how you are valuable, how you are worthy, how you deserve this. You got to ask yourself, why don't I feel like I deserve this? What, if you're going to things outside of yourself and saying, well, this thing and that thing is the reason I'm not, ask yourself what within yourself mirrors that outside of you. Because again, as I've spoken many times in my readings over the last few months, as within, so without. When you understand that your thoughts create your reality, they also create your happiness, and that you can reprogram yourself in your nervous system so you can believe in the possibility of this. And once you believe in the possibility of this, you start to be able to narrow down, what does that mean to me? Where's my abundance? How am I valuable? And why does this give me value? Why is this something I want? And the answer typically is simply to thrive, to live a very happy life, doing what you want to do, which actually makes you feel abundant. So the question is how do you make yourself feel like you are abundant and every part of your life adds to it? The first thing to do is to stop focusing on the hell, right? Some of us can be in situations or circumstances where hell is all we know, and continuing to feed into whichever circumstance is what reality we are going to experience. So, do you want to stay in hell? Do you want to stay in purgatory and not move forward? Or do you want to be blessed with the ultimate pleasure of heaven on earth? You may want to check out my tarot reading that's a little under an hour called You're Leaving the Matrix. It's about 4 readings back. Description box has lots of information. You can also book with me through my email. So ask yourself, what makes me feel more worthy? Not what makes you feel like you can't succeed. You got to make that shift. You have to make the choice every day to choose happiness. And you choose happiness by investing in it, no matter how you feel. And the more you vibrate on this level, the more you attract it in your everyday experience. Again, I've spoken on gratitude. Gratitude really helps you with this, okay? Because the more things that you notice that you are actually happy to have in your life, even if it's small things like, oh, wow, I get to enjoy the most divine cup of coffee every morning and watch the birds sing. Oh, I get to meditate for 5 to 15 minutes or an hour every day outside with my feet in the grass. Oh, I've got the most adorable little fur family, my little kitty cats that I love to snuggle with, and I look forward to that every day. These are things I am personally grateful for. And in times of great travesty, grounding into the moments with those simple pleasures, again, you can call in the bigger pleasures. You can call in your heaven on earth. And this fawn here, it has spots. I don't know how well you can see that on the camera, but it has little spots, which is usually indicative of a new baby fawn. And there's a gateway there. Okay. The last reading I did before this one is called You're Going Through a Portal and You're Being Assisted, something like that. Again, it'll be in the playlist Divine with Me in the description box or the main channel page. Please subscribe if you'd like. Drop a heart in the comments if you'd like to claim this message. Do you know how to fulfill yourself with new growth? Is there something you wanted to try that you feel like could bring greater value to your life? Perhaps some journaling, discussing this with like-minded friends, 933, talking to God or your divine, the gods. The book I landed on going forward. So how do you want to move forward in your life? Okay, let's go to thriving so you can get a little more context from the beautiful creator of this deck. This is actually the first time I am breaking this into YouTube. 1000 on the timestamp. And I have personally followed this process in my own life, and I do plan on speaking on it more. I'm currently writing my book about my third spiritual awakening that technically, you could say the primary journey began in 2023, but it's been a long unfoldment, okay? But I have been writing about my experience living semi off grid on my own in a mountain town, and how I connected with spirit through that experience, how I went from barely surviving because of circumstance and just recovering from a serious illness to being thrown, catapulted onto this journey and not having external support and responsibilities that I got myself through. So I went from surviving to thriving. And I used my thoughts and my beliefs to do it. I reprogrammed myself. And I'm teaching other people how to do this genuinely. You can change your life and have heaven on earth. You can become the ultimate abundance, therefore attracting it. Believe in yourself. Give yourself a chance. Thriving. So this picture is of the African savanna. In the African savanna lives the tree of life, the baobab tree. I think I pronounced that correctly. This is a prehistoric species that predates humans. It is over 200 million years old. It has adapted, survived, and thrived in a harsh environment where so many other species have gone extinct. The baobab can live up to 5,000 years and can reach almost 100 feet tall. It is a succulent, which means that in the rainy season, it absorbs and stores water in its enormous trunk. Turning the page. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. This water helps it produce a nutrient-dense fruit in the dry season. When the land is parched and arid, these remarkable plants provide shelter, food, and water for both animals and humans. It is one of the only plants in the world that doesn't drop its fruit. Where it would spoil, it stays on the branch where it dries out. When picked, the fruit has a 3-year shelf life. That is phenomenal. Did you all know that about that tree? So the key here is 1333 on the timestamp is resiliency, is resourcefulness, right? Not relying so much on things outside of yourself, but what is within yourself, the ability to hydrate and fulfill yourself with life force energy, to be a safe place for yourself first, and then you can be a safe place for others. This is another thing I teach with a lot of my spiritual readings, okay? So I'll read the rest down here for you. If you decide you don't want to hear the rest of the message, it's cool. Just tap the like button on your way out, and I hope you'll come back. Thanks. The sacred landscape wants you to know, if you draw this card, you are a survivor. And not only do you survive, but you use situations that others might find challenging to thrive. You expand when others shrink. This may be the time to adapt to your circumstances. Rather than be overcome by them, you have a remarkable ability to step beyond any challenge. You are strong. Others may find shelter in your energy, and right now, that's okay. Though giving to others, you are in turn nourished. This card may be urging you to step into the primal, primordial, powerful, wild part of yourself. Doing this will increase your vitality and contribute to your overall well being. Just sit with that for a second. I would like to say, though, this is a beautiful message, but one thing we have to remember for those of you that are especially overgiving, okay, who don't pour your own cup very often, who are hoping somebody else will do it, this is not the time to be pouring into others. I'm not saying ignore your responsibilities. I'm saying know when you are the priority. That is how we become abundant. You have to trust that by pouring into yourself, others will meet you where you're at. 15:55 on the timestamp. Okay. So let's see what else stands out to me here. Adapting to your circumstances. So being able to get comfortable with the unknown. These are all things that Spirit has taught me. I am a psychic medium empath, and I've been guided, and I'm a very independent person. So for me to get to the point of surrender and trusting another to guide me was not an easy feat. So if your ego's arguing with this message in any way, it's cool. You know, if you want, you can explore into that and ask yourself why you're arguing with it. Or maybe it's just not time. Save it, come back to it later, or, enjoy the journey however you'd like. No one is forced to stay with a message, nor do you need to force the wisdom. If you are forcing, you are not in the flow. Okay? And how you get into the flow is by being aligned. And how you get into alignment is to come out of survival mode. So, first thing is see what is causing you to have a dysregulated nervous system. Learn how to balance that out, and mindfulness can really help with that. Because when you are mindful, you are aware of what you're thinking, what energy you're pouring into your life, how others are affecting your emotions. And then you can get to the point where you can read your body system and you can go like, ooh, that made me tense. Ooh, I don't like the way that made me feel. Ooh, my head hurt after I spoke to that person. And go, my body is communicating with me about what these other energies are sending my way. I don't like that. Why don't I like that? Why am I not in alignment with that? That's mindfulness, and also journal prompts. Really thinking about it. I just saw 1801. The moon card is 18. So going inward into the subconscious creates infinite new possibilities on a new beginning. Now I'd like to keep this reading a little shorter. So let's jump into happiness. Who's ready to jump for joy, right? I just saw forgiveness. Yeah, some of you might need to forgive others for yourself, not them, and forgive yourself for the times that you weren't able to go after what you wanted and feel free. I just saw freedom. Okay. I'm going to skip the big part of the paragraph and go ahead and go to the bottom paragraph, right? Click your heels and shout for joy. The signs are with you. Let your light shine. Abounding good luck awaits you. A gateway is opening for even more joy and happiness. Your life is expanding. Opportunities are emerging. This is the time to go forward with glee. Love deeply and fully. Embrace life with open arms. Goodness is flowing to you. The only thing to be aware of is to monitor your expansion in a metered way. Too much too fast can be overwhelming. Now, that's the second note we've had about expanding, spreading your wings, so to speak, right? So, in order to expand, you have to pay attention to what makes you contract. 1944 on the timestamp. Beginnings, graduating to new cycles, foundation, home, family life, that's relevant to some of you. So 4-4 also could be 1-4-4. So spiritual warriors. Anyways, what makes you contract? What makes you feel small? Pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your thoughts, how things make you feel. You can come into balance with these things, and you come into alignment. You can be in the flow. You can follow your happiness. 2020 on the timestamp, right? Hindsight is 2020. You can also look back at all the ways you've limited yourself before if you're brave. Perhaps you want to do this with a licensed counselor of some sort, spiritual advisor, or through spiritual readings like this. Okay, it's your choice. You can also talk to God or the divine or your higher self. You can talk to nature. You know, one of the things, and I'm not the only one, for people who have lived off grid or away from large groups of people for a long time, you kind of, well, you release any judgment about what people would think because you're out and it's like, okay, the birds are not judging me. The deer are not judging me, you know? A freaking bear is definitely not judging me. They're wondering if they want to eat me. Maybe knock around my trash can. But no, 2121 was on the timestamp. 21 is the world card. It's about closing major cycles, right? So if you can, dive into that. 2133. All right. Expand, not contract. What makes you want to open up, not shut down? And if you're completely resistant to opening up, there's something to explore as well, right? I used to be somebody who was terrified of being seen because when I was seen, that meant that I was going to get hurt. That's my reality. Not anymore, but it was. Talk about a lot of things as an advocate as well. Some of the things I've been through, trauma recovery and all that good stuff. The recovery, not the trauma. Okay, abundance. See what the book has to say. Also, what does abundance mean to you? Blessings. Blessings on here. It could mean blessings. Maybe you just haven't felt blessed in a long time. Maybe you've been through a lot of hardships, and that can definitely make people get stuck in trauma loops of expecting more of the worst. Maybe unplug from the news and other external outlets and doom scrolling, that kind of thing. I definitely suggest that. I personally unplug from my phone. I actually canceled my private cell phone and I only have my work phone. And I only check it twice a week for customer support. And I used to be somebody who thought I had to be available to everyone all the time. And it was so draining on me. And then when I came out here a few years ago, and I was already living up in the woods for over 10 years, pretty much, I I realized that most people didn't actually contact me. And there are people that sent me love, you know, communicated in other ways. So I knew those that really valued me. But when you're constantly available to everyone and everything, that includes the dings on your phone, right? Have you ever considered just shutting off your phone for a day on one of your days off or whatever? Seriously, like I do that. I have my phone off pretty much every single day. I turn it on to listen to music when I get in the shower, and I make sure there isn't anything I missed on my business line, and that's it. That might be very scary for some of you to consider doing, but when you're living in the present moment and the flow, those things don't matter. And when you realize most people are too consumed with their own lives to check in with yours, 2414 partnership and seeing how far you've come, people are there to still rally around you. Sometimes you need to tell people that you need them to rally around you, okay? An abundance of good moments, good people, and yes, time. Time is value, time is currency. So how much are you honoring yourself? If you consider that time is abundance, when you limit yourself internally, you limit yourself externally. And yes, I'm aware that some of you have to work a lot. Some of you have family obligations, like you care for a loved one physically or other ways. Some of you are just choose not to make time because other things you think are more important than your own time. Really think about that though. When we create any limits to abundance, we tell ourselves 2511 that it's not possible for us to receive more when it is. You just have to prioritize it. You can find a way. Trust. I was super mom, super wife. Now I'm single, and my child just turned 18, and now I'm like, so glad I took the time to fulfill myself. Now I can do anything I want. So, I am living in my happiness. I'm not just telling you to do something that I'm not already doing. It is possible. It is possible. Do you want it? Has nothing to do with anyone else. That's hard to hear sometimes. Okay. So, here's what the sacred landscape has to say about abundance. Everything is blossoming in life. Open yourself to receive. Abundance, fulfillment, and prosperity are ready to be activated in your life. Life desires you to prosper. You are moving toward an outpouring of money, energy, time, or love. Opportunities are limitless. However, you must take action in the direction of your dreams. Don't wait for abundance to fall into your lap. Take steps. Give deeply and fully. Don't hold back. This card reveals that this is a great time to make investments. The more you give with a free and open heart, the more you will receive. Be grateful for what you already have, and even more will flow to you. So that made me think of first the Empress card, the Seven of Pentacles, and what was the other one? I had another one, but it just wiped from my brain, so it's not that important. Seven of Pentacles is about investment. And also, I want to go back to happiness here. We were talking about taking steps. When trying to manifest something big in your life, you don't want to, when you're quantum leaping, you don't want to, you want to create a yellow brick road for yourself, right? And this pathway here. If you're on the other side of this, you already have step by step, right? Channeling every step I take. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. No, I don't like that part. But Spirit's watching you. You're not alone in this, okay? Is that Sting? Who is that? Leave it in the comments if you want. Anyways, you want to follow it step by step because sometimes people will manifest their dream life, right? All that glitters is not always gold. Look at the top of that card. Okay. So if you're not actually prepared to hold, to sustain, if you don't feel like you're thriving and a big manifestation comes in or a big change or opportunity, if you aren't thriving, you're still trying to survive, you won't be able to hold on to that thing, which is why it's important to find out what really makes you happy and feel fulfilled, right? Okay. And again, an emphasis on not giving too much to others. We've had Six of Pentacles come up a lot in the recent readings in the last few months. Equal give and take. Generosity, yes. Yes, it is true that when you are generous with others, etc., but you have to be generous with yourself first. Again, perhaps that is being generous with your time with yourself. Do you like to read? Is there a hobby you've wanted to try? And, if you're saying, well, this person needs me and this person needs me and this person needs me, be like, don't you need you? Do you want this? Because the Empress, she just embodies that, right? Gender nondescript in any of my readings. It's energy, receptive energy, right? And the Empress is the ultimate nurturer, creatrix, or creator, constantly giving birth to new things. Your creations, your time, different aspects of yourself. That's Empress energy. Knowing that you are worth it, you are valuable, and to receive pleasure. Okay. To some of you, pleasure is a dirty word, and knock it off. It's this is a PG reading. Yeah. So pleasure, but safe environment, safe people, you know, consent. Just saying. Moving on from that, that is part of it. Yes, and some we're just going to walk away from that now. Right. I I am bold, but I am a little shy. You may not know that about me. So we're just going to move on from that now. All right, cool. And I don't edit my videos. So, hi, shown up authentic. Pleasure, right? It's my pleasure to be here. I found something I could do that I absolutely love, which is readings. I never saw myself as a reader before. And as my spiritual path expanded, I expanded and I was guided to do this. And now it fulfills me to be here to do this. Okay. And that gives me more abundance. Every time I create more abundance for myself. And it's like, I'll watch back my videos to make sure that they all came out good before I post them. And every time it's like I'm watching my new child play. That's what it is. I am in Empress mode. And I'm not just saying that. I'm not one of those people who goes, oh, I'm an Empress. I actually am who I say I am. And you can be too, but you have to decide that you're worth it. Okay. You have to decide. So let's see what the book has to say about pleasure. Luscious meadow. Savor your life, each and every part of it. Take pleasure in slowing down and experiencing each of your senses. Taste your food with full gusto. Inhale the scent of the world around you. Enjoy the colors and textures of your life. This is truly a stop and smell the roses card. Embrace your sensuality. Move in a languid way. Let pleasure be your password into every intimate part of your life. Allow your life to be less about being productive and more about enjoying each moment with verve, and a radiant energy will flow through you in all directions of your life. Mindfulness. There is a way of life that I see in Japanese culture where they very much move with intention in everything they do. Not all Japanese, but their culture, part of it, they are known for taking it one moment at a time, feeling fulfilled in every simple act. And there's an actual term for this. I'm blanking on it right now. Perhaps you can leave it in the comments and expand if you know anything about this. If you have any experience or you live your life in a mindful way, you might also want to look into the slow life movement, the way of life where it's not about hustle culture, which is another thing I've talked about in my readings. 3313. Okay. Mastering karmic cycles to do. Remember that there are more important things in life than things, right? And our experiences often are the most valuable thing. So if you are rushing all the time, you're not really in the present moment. You're thinking about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, which means you're never really holding space for yourself. And if you want others to hold space for you and you want to receive, find your pleasure. It's within you. If you'd like to journey more with us going forward, I would love it if you would subscribe. Truly appreciate each and every one of you. This is Ellie. Bye, darlings.